I remember as a small child watching Lawrence Welk with my grandmother and wanting so much to join the orchestra as a violinist. I eventually convinced my mother to give me violin lessons and eventually went on to get my bachelor's in violin. Have you ever wanted to play a musical instrument? Or if you do, have you ever wanted to learn a new one? Even though it's been many years since I have performed, I would like to show you some basics in playing the violin so that you can play simple songs such as Happy Birthday, which I'll show you today, which is written by Kathy and Mildred Hill. Before we can begin, let's learn some basic violin anatomy. Here is my violin itself. This main larger part is the body, not including the stuff up here. At the bottom is always a chin rest. Although it is called a chin rest, it doesn't touch our chin, but rather the left side of our jaw. If I hold the violin sideways, you can see that this little thin strip of wood, which is referred to as the bridge, keeps the string elevated above the instrument. The top of the body is referred to as the shoulder, and protruding from the body is the neck, which culminates in this decorative element known as the scroll. If you look carefully at the neck, you will see a black piece of ebony wood, which is known as a fingerboard because this is where our fingers depress the fingerboard to make different tones. Now that we know some basics about the body of the violin, let's go ahead and take a look at its counterpart, the bow. The wooden part of the bow is referred to as the stick, and its white part the hair because it's made out of genuine horsehair. Here is the tip, and here is the frog. The frog is connected to this part, which enables you to reduce or add tension to your bow as necessary by twisting. Now that we know the basic components of the violin, let's go ahead and take a look at properly holding the violin, beginning with the bow since I'm still holding it. First, we will have our hand in a C shape, our right hand, making sure that the thumb is very pointy. We'll place the very tip of our thumb on the leather strap right in front of the nut, with the middle and ring fingers gently over that, maintaining a circular shape inside. We will put the index finger gently there, and then we will allow the pinky to rest just at the tip. We know that we're holding our violin bow correctly if the pinky finger depresses and allows the tip to rise and fall, and also if we are allowed to rotate our knuckles like this without dropping the bow. Now that we know how to hold the bow, let's look at properly holding the body. Holding the violin upright, go ahead and place your left hand over the shoulder. Holding it by the shoulder, we can bring it to the clavicle. Notice how I do not change my body posture as I bring it to my clavicle, but rather I just make sure that the violin is placed in such a way that I can sit properly. Let's take one last look at the violin bow so that we can see how to apply it to our violin before we continue on. Holding the bow properly, we will place the hair flat against the strings directly in between the bridge and the edge of the fingerboard like this. We do up and down motions known as strokes to make the sound. I'll place this down now so that we can continue on with how to properly hold the violin. Now that it's resting on my clavicle, I will clamp down with the left side of my jaw, and I can now release my hand and place it where it belongs on the fingerboard. If we take a closer look at the fingerboard, you can see that there are no visual markers to distinguish if you are in the correct location on the violin. This means that violinists go largely by feel in determining if they are in the correct position. One thing that anchors us in place is our thumb. We'll be placing our thumb in a specific place on the neck, and I will show you here that we will be using our thumb not the middle part of the meat but off to the side, and I'll turn around now to show you where we will place it on the neck. We will locate the middle of the neck, and we'll actually place it more toward the left, not touching the scroll, but very close to it. Now we can put the remainder of our fingers over the fingerboard in a waterfall-like motion. If I wish to reach the left string, I simply elevate my elbow, and if I wish to reach the right strings, I depress my elbow. Playing the violin without depressing any of the strings is sometimes referred to as open position. What I will show you now is known as first position or bass position. Our first finger is actually what we know as our index finger. Our middle finger is our second finger. Our ring finger is our third finger, and our pinky finger is our fourth finger. In first position, our index finger should be one whole tone above open. Our second finger should be one whole tone above first. Our third finger should be one half tone above second. And our fourth finger should be one whole tone above third. It is the same for all four strings. Once we know our fingering position in all four strings, we can now learn and play any simple song that does not leave first position, such as Happy Birthday. As you can see, playing the violin takes many components before you can make even one sound. First, there's how you hold the bow. Second, there's how you hold the violin. And third, there's your fingering positioning. Don't despair if you're feeling frustrated. The violin has a very steep learning curve, but as the saying goes, practice makes perfect. With time and practice, you too can play the violin. Thanks for watching.